Over here, I have a dress that I fell in love with on Pinterest. And over here, I have fabric that I bought ages ago and just never did anything with. So let's see if we can put these two things together and make something for myself today. This is the plan. I'm going to take the measurement from this dress that I wear all the time because I love the way it fits on me. I love the length of the strap specifically and where it falls exactly on my bust over here. So I'm going to copy this measurement for the top of our dress. And then I was just thinking the bottom part of the dress is a basic gathered skirt, like a tiered gathered skirt. So I am going to try to combine those two things and hopefully make something that fits me. Let's take these measurements and transfer them onto our paper. So I'm gonna cut this 4 times, 1 piece for the front, 1 piece for the back, and then 2 pieces for the lining. I'm trying not to cut the selvage edge as well. I used to cut that off when I was first starting out, but then it turns out that's like a finished edge that I don't have to hem. So I really shouldn't be cutting that out. I should be making use of that. That was sharp. Oh my. I think I cut, yep, I cut myself. Oops, I am bleeding. My focus for today is to just make the top. If I can somehow make the top, I can figure out the skirt tomorrow because I don't have a lot of time to sew today. So I'm just trying to do the most that I can with the time that I have. And the reason why I'm determined to start today is because I have been thinking about this project for far too long. And I find that if I take so long just like spending all my time thinking about it, but not actually doing it, it never comes together. So I am actually gonna cut the fabric, so now I have no choice but to proceed. But first, I'm gonna grab a band-aid for my finger. What I'm planning is I'm gonna cut out 2 centimeter strips and turn those into like thin spaghetti straps. I hope that that's thin enough. And these are my straps. So I'm just gonna fold them in half, sew them down the long way, and then use a loop turner to pull them the right side out. You can see the vision, right? I'm gonna use this Cricut Easy Press, Mini Easy Press. This is made for iron-on vinyl on clothes, but I don't see why it can't work as a regular iron. And it's so much easier to just use like this heat pad here on my desk than to have to pull out my ironing board every time I want to press something. Things that I used to skip when I first started was things like pressing the garment where you're folding it before you sew. But I've learned that it makes such a big difference, not only in like making, oh, okay, yeah, okay, I had to wait for it to get the temp, although it seems warm enough. Anyway, it just makes the sewing, the actual sewing, go so much faster. It makes the finishing of your garment look so much better if you just take the time to do little things like pressing the seams before you sew. I love this so much compared to my big clunky iron that I used to use for sewing. Oh my gosh, it's so small. So it's so easy to like press little tiny seams like this. Swapping out the iron for the machine, which I have already threaded. Does the thread look too pink to you? Because to me, it looks too pink, but it was the only option that they had in the store. So like it was the closest option to my fabric. So I decided to just get it and hope for the best. Hang on. I saw this hack online that like my machine tends to jam whenever I'm trying to like sew really skinny things like this because the cloth just gets pushed in underneath. So I saw online that if you put a piece of paper underneath and then you can use the paper to guide it and it just gives it like that extra bit of support. I don't know if it'll work. I really hope it'll work. Let's give it a shot. You should just use your stitches as the perforated edge to take it out. And voila! I bought a loop turner and I'm so excited to use it because I bought this ages ago. I bought it when I made my gingham top DIY. because I had such a hard time turning those straps inside out that I was like, oh, it's worth it. It's worth it to invest in a loop turner. Let's see if it's actually worth it. I think I'm meant to hook. Is this how you're supposed to use it? But then how do I, and then I just pull. Is this right? I should probably look up how to use it. That was a fail. I can't get it through the tube and it ripped the fabric, and obviously I didn't sew it properly in the first place because I didn't catch the edge. I found out that I was supposed to cut these straps on the bias to give them more stretch. So that's what I did. I hope this is right. I didn't want to do that because as much as possible, I was trying to keep all my cuts like rectangular, square, because I wanted to minimize waste. But now I have like this big triangle piece that I had to cut out. I'm gonna square off these edges. Trying to explain what it is I'm doing is quite hard because like I'm also like, I don't know if I'm doing it right, and I don't want like to say this is how you do it and then turns out not so much. I'm basically going to repeat the steps I did earlier. Cut out my strips, fold it in half, iron it, sew it down, and then try to flip it one more time. Let's hope second time's the charm. We have straps! Oh my gosh, my goal for today was to at least finish the top part of the dress before I got to work on making the gatherings for the tiered skirt portion. But it literally took me 2 hours to make these 2 small straps. I have to leave for my tennis class in 30 minutes, hence the outfit change. But I think I have the time to assemble this top together. So let's try and do that speedily. So all I did was take my 2 outside pieces, put them good sides facing, although I can't tell the difference between the front and the back. So any side is good side. Did the same thing with our lining pieces. So now it's like one really long strip of fabric. Now that that's done, what you want to do is put your seams together, line them up at the seams with your good sides facing. I'm gonna pin all along the top here. So what I want to do is take the straps and insert them this way. Pin that in place and do the same to the back side. How am I gonna do that? Maybe I shouldn't have sewn it together just quite yet. Oh no! Hang on. Oh. I came back to this refreshed and I think I figured it out. What I've done is I've measured exactly the placement of the front of the dress. So the strap comes in 4 inches from the side seam, 9 inches apart, and then 4 inches from the other side seam. And now all I need to do is measure the same thing on the back of the dress. So 4 inches, that's where I'm gonna put my mark. And then 9 inches apart, let's put another mark. Now all I have to do is sew along the top here, leave a space where I've marked here and here. And then where we have left our little holes, we insert this and let's try this on. Ta-da! It is so clean. I love the understitching. After a lot of testing, a lot of maths, and trying things out, I've learned that the gathering foot does not work so well with this fabric. I think it's too heavy of a fabric. I saw this hack online where if you put like a piece of cord in between a zigzag stitch, then you can gather the fabric in that way, and it's a lot more forgiving than doing the usual method where you have 2 straight stitches. But this way, I can gather the fabric. Do you see? Do you see the vision? And then like move the gathers anywhere I need them to be, how tight I need them to be. I think this is gonna work, especially for like such a long piece. We are really like pushing ourselves to the edge of our sewing knowledge for this project. All right, moment of truth. Let's see if this little hack works when it's an extra long piece of fabric. It's actually working. Like, it's gathering pretty easily. My problem is, this was literally the entire width of my fabric that I used to create this much skirt, and it only covers the front half of my body. So what I'm thinking is maybe I can shorten it so I can maintain this gather, and then take the excess fabric that I have along with like the shortened bit and then create the back panels, because right now it's just enough for a front panel. Okay, wait. So right now I chopped it off so that I could continue all the way to the back. So we actually have a full garment now. It's so short. It's like a little baby doll dress, which also, it could be a top. And that's actually kind of cute. Like, it could be a cute little top, right? But I have just enough fabric to do another layer that's also this length, so which would bring us back to my initial length, like my initial desired length of 34 inches for the skirt. For the second tier of the skirt, I decided that I would try the traditional method of gathering a skirt, which is running 2 basting stitches parallel to each other along the top part of your fabric, and then using that to gather everything. You take the top threads and then you just push, and it'll scrunch it up. And this part, I'm gonna be honest, is so tedious because this is a really long piece of fabric. So what I'm basically doing is I'm scrunching it up until I get it to be the same width as the bottom of my first tier. And then I can line it up and then sew them together. All right, I have added the second layer to the dress. Let's see how it looks. This is what the dress is looking like so far. It isn't exactly like how I pictured it, but I'm happy with how it looks. So next steps are I need to hem it, sew it up here, and the thing that I have been dreading this entire project, figure out how to put in an invisible zipper so I can get in and out of it easily. I've watched so many tutorials on how to attach a zipper foot. Oh, I really hope I do this right. I'm gonna link all the videos that I followed to try and get this right. And if I get this right, then you should definitely check out those videos because they were very informative. Now, if I did this right, ooh, it's not twisted. I did do it. I did it. You can see it. It's horrible that the color doesn't match. I'm glad I didn't put it all the way down because then that would be so obvious. It's not so bad, but you know, it's not great. It'll be fine though. Okay. I'm gonna sew up the 2 halves of the skirt so it's finally together, and then sew down my lining, and then we're finally ready for the reveal. this is it, our finished dress. I'm so proud of myself with this project. I checked my files. It has been 7 months since the last time I attempted a sewing project. And I realized that is like the amount of time it takes for my brain to forget how difficult it is to actually put a garment together. I think after I finish a sewing project, I'm always like, that was so hard, I need a break. And then I don't touch the sewing machine for months and months and months until finally I kind of forget the pain of having to put a garment together. And I'm like, maybe I could make something for myself. Thank you for joining me on this journey. I hope you enjoyed watching the process of making this dress, and I will see you guys in the next one. Bye!